We're hearing that little buzz.
We're also live on YouTube right now.
Oh, we are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So ignore the buzz.
This one is called the pants.
Ignore the buzz.
Hey.
Just feel groovy.
Welcome to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. We all know the funniest things happen when we stop taking ourselves too seriously and step out boldly, like Mr. Magoo blindly stepping onto the next swinging girder and falling into an outrageous jackpot. Your hosts, Daryl and Ed, are about to administer a refreshing dose of laughter and love that will inspire you to step out boldly and experience the funniest things. Now, here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed.
Hey!
Yes.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing, where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Wow.
I'm Daryl.
And I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from Middle School Studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
That's right. And today's show is called...
We're all playing make-believe.
We're all playing make-believe. And that's because we all have these great imaginations. We're happy when we imagine good for ourselves and others because in those moments we're co-creating with God. And to Daryl and Ed's delight, during the second segment, Funniest Thing fan Noel Bax jumps in to read and discuss today's daily word, pray for others. And there's a few things we wanted to mention up front,
Yes!
Daryl, about there's an episode that goes along with this one
That's right.
in the archives.
Yes, a great complimentary episode. Mm-hmm. That's the same daily word for that episode, which is pray for others. It's another perspective on this, and it's called A Prayer for You.
Is a prayer for me.
That's right. Because
That's right.
whenever we say a prayer for others,
Yes.
we immediately receive the benefits of that prayer.
That's right. If you want to hear that episode, one easy way to hear it is go to darylanded.com, www.darylanded.com. You can go to listen online. Go through it'll take you to our page at Unity Online Radio. You can find the episode A Prayer for You is a Prayer for Me and click listen, or you can find it on iTunes as well.
But you know what? You just gave me a great thing that we could let our listeners know, too, that you've actually found a lot of recovery from.
True. You want to tell them or shall I?
You go ahead, because you told me, and I was like, yeah, the same thing happens to me.
Yeah, Daryl and Ed were talking about the way we write our program descriptions and how from time to time when we've been putting together a book or we're doing something where we need to go back through the titles of our show. Sometimes I'm like wondering, is this a repeat title? But
right. Or have we sung that song before?
And similar to the way it feel when we go through our book by like Emmett Fox or something. But when I go through the titles and descriptions of our show, just looking at them, reading the titles alone, I feel an uplift because that's why we like writing those descriptions. We write it until it gives us that we call it the medicine, so that just reading the description is one way to give yourself a boost.
Yeah, you don't even have to go through the pains of listening to an entire episode.
God.
You could actually just read our program descriptions and get a little boost because they're pretty much 1 or 2 line mini meditations or positive thoughts or new ideas that'll kick your thinking or your imagination, like today's topic, in the direction where you're actually co-creating with God instead of trying to fight in the wrong direction out of fear.
You can leave the listening to Chief Engineer Jeff Comfort, and all you have to do is read the program descriptions. There's one other thing.
Yeah, before our breaths.
Yeah, because we want to get into our 3 breaths for the day. And but Daryl, you had a story about how these 3 last week's 3 breaths.
Oh my God! Just this morning, I was called Ed, and I was telling Ed, oh my God! Even I couldn't wait to tell him how the 3 breaths from our last episode, just last week's show, helped me immensely this morning because I woke up and I was kind of grumpy. You know, I was starting to grump in my mind. I got up before my wife, Lori, and there was like all our stuff on the counter from our late night foraging.
Yes.
And so I was like, and then I sat down to do my routine. I started doing my routine, and I could feel I was starting to attack myself mentally.
Yeah.
And then I remembered last week's 3 breaths. I spare the rod and tune into God. And it was amazing how that immediately, because there was no excuse. It like helped me click out of I spare the rod. I mean, I start beating I stop
Yes.
using my mind as a weapon to punish myself.
Yes.
And I'm just going to tune into God. And instantaneously,
Yes.
my mood started to elevate. And I was like, I didn't even have that heavy feeling like
Right.
from those previous thoughts.
Yes.
It was amazing.
You know, I just picked up my phone. Did you send this to me? There's another episode that would go right along with this show, which is when your friend is feeling crappy, just imagine them happy.
Yes, that goes along with this episode as well, which is pray for others. Because we're actually, a line in today's daily word is almost saying that.
Yes.
In a more dignified way, I guess you'd
That's
call
right.
it.
That's right. Last week's episode, by the way, was be sure to tune in daily.
Yeah.
And that was tune into
Oh
God.
my God.
Yes.
And that goes along with our surprise in segment 3.
Fantastic.
Daily.
Yes.
Tune in daily.
True. Dum, bum. All right. So, why don't we get into today's breathing?
Yes, I'm sure Jeff Comfort can't wait.
Yes, because this is really about choosing, because
Yes.
we're all playing make-believe, whether we're believing in something, in the fear, or we're believing in love.
Yes.
That's pretty much like the underlying tone of our thoughts at any given moment. At least what direction are we going into? Are we being driven by fear or by love?
And this is a good time to re-emphasize the idea of faith. Faith just doesn't mean a type of religion.
No.
Faith is like a mental energy.
Yes.
And if I put my faith in, oh no, what's going to happen? I can't believe it. I better hurry up. I'm going to be late. Now I got my faith in fear.
Yes.
And now that's fueling my imagination
Yes.
into scary, predictions and scary things and
Yes.
and bad emotions.
Right.
Or I could aim my faith towards love and maybe highlight the good things in my life.
Exactly.
And
Through appreciation,
through
through a list. Either write a list or go through the list in your head.
Yeah, gratitude. And now and this is the thing we want to let our listeners know before we forget to tell you. The great news is life flows in a positive direction. Right?
Yes.
It's like a giant river of energy. It's a stream always moving on our behalf.
Yes.
So we don't want you to get frightened by the idea, oh no, I'm thinking negative thoughts, so I'm going to have negative things happen. It takes so much negative thinking and
Yes.
action to even start creating misery in your
Right.
life. So, and that's why it feels bad. So we could immediately spare the rod and then tune into God.
Because inevitably our subconscious mind, something from the past is going to come up. And those are the times where, something negative starts just playing like a tape in your head. And we're going to talk about this in a couple stories in a minute. So it's important with what you're saying is to not beat ourselves up when this negative stuff starts.
No.
And just remember, it's on the way out. It's
Yes.
just some old past tape. And it's what we choose to focus on now, which is sometimes it's easier said than done, but it always works. So one of the things that really helps is to do a morning routine of some sort. Or just get up in the morning, you meditate for a few minutes, you read a few inspired books, just a paragraph here, whatever, or daily reading. And so
You're worth it.
Yeah, you're so worth it. So you reset it. And Daryl and Ed, for today's breath, what we always say is the best morning wood is when I highlight my good. So let's take one breath to clear our mind. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
The best morning wood is when I highlight my good.
The best morning wood is when I highlight my good.
The best morning wood
Is-
is when I highlight my good. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness gracious. Oh, that's some good morning wood right there.
That sure is. I feel the laugh even really got me in the
Oh,
right.
man.
I'm flowing in the positive stream
Me
of life
too.
now.
Definitely. So we'll get into a few readings to really set the table for today's show. It is the first one comes from Thoughts Are Things by Prentice Mulford. And
Are you going to tell them the special news? You just reminded me now that you're pulling up
let's
a
do it.
reading.
Oh, do it.
Oh, right. we're gonna start now on our website, which is DarylandEd.com. Moving forward, after each episode,
Yes.
we will put up as like a blog post. It'll have the title of this episode.
Yes.
And the mini description for a little boost. But we're also going to include the
readings from each episode.
Yeah, actual like excerpts from the books we've read with the book we found it in.
Yes.
And a link to the podcast.
Right, and the YouTube episode will be there as well.
Oh, it'll be embedded.
Yes, and if you want to read any of our books in the meanwhile or purchase them, go to our DarylandEd.com, go to the reading list tab, and you can click on it. It'll take you to some online dealer, and you can add it to your collection. This one is from Prentice Mulford. This man lived from 1834 to 1891, and he puts a good light on. So this has been so helpful to me as like a way to know if I'm off the beam, if I'm getting onto, if I'm following fear. Fear is guiding me because it's so subtle, but this is like a surefire way. He says, there is always a bit of fear when there is a bit of hurry. When you hurry to the train station, you are in fear that you may be left, and with that comes fear of other possibilities consequent on your being left. When you hurry to the party, to the meeting of a person by appointment, you are in fear of some ill or damage resulting not from being in time. This habit of thought can, through an unconscious training, grow to such an extent as to pervade a person's mind at all times and places, and bring on a fear of loss of some kind, when there is absolutely no loss to be sustained. For instance, a person may hurry to catch a streetcar and act and feel as if it is a great loss. Let's see.
I think if I don't catch
As
it.
if a great loss would occur if did he not get on that particular car, when there may be another close behind, or at most 2 or 3 minutes waiting will bring it. Yet the fear of waiting those 3 minutes grows to a mountain in size, and it is in that person's mind a most disagreeable possibility. Through mere habit, a similar condition of hurry may characterize that person's walking, eating, writing, in short, everything he does, and will render it more and more difficult for such a person to act with coolness and deliberation. That quality of mind or emotion underlying all this hurried mental condition and consequent hurried act is fear.
That is a great reading, because when I read that for the first time,
Yes.
and it's funny, not that we haven't been aware of this throughout our life in the spiritual way of living, but we forget, and we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So since reading that recently, I have been so mindful
Oh, yeah.
of when I'm hurrying.
Yeah,
That is the perfect barometer to catch yourself before your imagination really takes off, and you don't even realize until you're feeling really bad and funky that you've been imagining from a place of fear.
Well, that's sort of the negative side of thinking, I'm just going to start setting my goals in stone and accomplish them no matter what it takes. Because when I'm in that mode of just the fact that I get there, I feel this relief. It's like this up and down. I'm afraid I'm not going to get there, and then I get there and I feel relief, and then another thing comes and I feel afraid. That, for me, is not living. Because for me, it's more important what quality of energy I bring to it. If I'm going to meet people, or if I'm going to do this show, it's not just, oh, thank God I'm here. I also want to be happy when I'm here. I want to be open. I want to be, aligned with love, and so that I have something to share when I get here.
And you know what I've been using with this too?
Yes.
As soon as I feel myself, oh my God, I only got 20 minutes to get across town. I mean, this just happened recently. I started going, wait a minute. God's in charge. If I hurry, I'm going to be there late.
Right.
So I'm just going to easy does it. And I actually took my time.
Yeah.
I made sure the dogs got a little, time to go outside.
Yeah.
I put them back in. I got in the car. I drove, and I wasn't feeling myself getting upset with other drivers not moving as quick enough, or texting and not going through the light.
Right.
And I could feel now my mind was actually on my side. It was like a healthy team was going, yeah, don't worry, we'll get there right when we're supposed to.
Yes.
And both times that I was fully conscious of this, because I just kept throwing God at it and not putting the fear into it.
Yes.
I got there on time. Remarkable, almost like spaceship. How did I get here?
Yep. Yeah, we have no idea how much we are loved by life until we become receptive to it and consciously choose to believe in a loving universe. We have a good reading from Emmett Fox, from Around a Year with Emmett Fox, from today, right?
Yes. This is another thing. most of like even with our show, we throw a lot of faith into our show. We don't
Yes, we
get
do.
hung up the week before. Oh no, we got so and so coming. What are we gonna do, Ed? We better start going researching what read. No, we just keep turning it over,
Yes.
and we think we have some readings, and then we're like, but we let them come and go. We're not rigid.
Yeah.
And then this morning, this one popped up, and it was perfect. From Emmett Fox. This is Around the Year with Emmett Fox, and it's from
Right.
today. Be ye therefore perfect, even as you. Be ye therefore perfect, even as you. Father which is in heaven is perfect. Matthew 5:48. Consider carefully what Jesus is saying. He is commanding us to be perfect, even as God himself is perfect. And as we know that Jesus will not command the impossible, he has given his authority to the doctrine that it is possible for man
No,
to
this,
be...
this is, what's the date today? Today, this is the one we're supposed to be reading, isn't it?
No,
The May 6th?
wait a minute.
Today's the 6th, man.
Because I was wondering too.
I know.
I was going, what am
That's
I
why
reading?
Yeah, you're getting sweaty and you're beat red, dude. I was thinking the same thing. All right, so jump into the meat. It's from May 6th, and it's called
Is
The
it-
Triumph of Love.
Is it getting hot in here, or is it my new summer cut?
Yeah.
Oh, the people watching on YouTube are loving this.
Yeah.
All right, read Matthew 5:43 through 47, right?
Yes.
But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be children of your Father which is in heaven. Right reaction is the supreme art of life.
All
and
right.
Jesus compressed the secret of that art into a sentence when he said, resist not evil. A correct understanding of this commandment will regenerate your body, liberate your soul, and remake your life.
Yes.
And here it is. Love is God and is therefore absolutely all-powerful. Meeting hatred with love is the perfect method of self-defense in all circumstances. It renders you absolutely invulnerable to any kind of attack. If you receive bad news, if you are unhappy in your work or in your home, feel out mentally for the presence of divine spirit all around you. Affirm its actuality and claim that God has dominion over all conditions, and soon you will be free.
Yes.
And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also.
Right, and this goes into when we're talking about whatever's coming up, hatred. It's a lot of the whatever's coming up in our own minds, whatever fear. Just go back into remembering that we're fully supported by God. Because in Power of Decision, Raymond Charles Barker says, when you decide to be happy, the creative process of mind moves into instant action upon your decision. Being all intelligent, it knows what to do and does it. Something takes over your mind that is greater than your present mind. And that's what we're talking about.
And
We got to
that's-
get back in the flow. And
Well-
that's what he's talking about, too.
And that goes perfect with the decision to start your day
Yes.
expecting something wonderful is going to happen.
That's right.
You're allowed to do that. It's
Yes,
not
you
illegal.
are.
Isn't it funny how we think, no, can't think of anything good might happen, but it's okay to think dismal, horrible things can happen.
No, I know. And then it's also okay throughout the day to re-choose again, even when your
Yes.
own mind starts to go in the direction of fear. Right now, we're going to go to a break, which we love. So coming up next, Funniest Thing fan Noel Bax jumps in to read and discuss today's daily word, Pray for Others. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is
Were you able to contact Noel Bax?
For the people at home, that's our guest today, as we just mentioned.
Were
Jeff
we-
Comfort is working at the lab.
Were we going to tell Bud's story?
But we'll tell Bud's
Oh, we
story.
got time.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, because we have short mail, and we're
What's
on
the
time
Mulford?
today.
You want to read that at the top? The Mulford we talked
Ooh,
about?
yeah,
Take a look
the
at it.
Mulford. That's a good one. Page 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could just tell a couple quick stories at the top of the
Yeah, we
the
can.
segment.
Because we got that one short, the Bud
And
story.
I'll tell a quick one
I
how
was
I
gonna
turned
say-
my mind around in the surf.
I was going to say, tell that one from this morning.
Which
because
one?
that was this.
Which one was that?
Where you told the kid, can we tell our racist jokes?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too. We'll see.
Because that works with this. where you actually threw love at it
Yes.
and it turned it around.
Yes.
And you even got the bookish lady from, that's actually his thing. I don't know why it's not popping up, but that is Noel Bax, I can tell.
We got funniest thing time at the end as well, where we can insert stories. I think that's where I'll tell the story from the group at the end.
Should I tell Noel Bax you're contacting him?
Oh yeah, and he says right here on Twitter 3 minutes ago that he's going on to the funniest thing. So that'll be good. Hello, YouTubers.
Yes.
We are excited as always, especially with the YouTube, man. Come
Especially
on.
when I was reading that and I had no idea what I was reading.
I
And
know,
I'm going,
right?
I don't recall any of this. When did you wake up and snap out of it?
Pretty early, but
Huh?
pretty early, but I didn't want to. I wanted to check the reading. I don't like to read over your shoulder, but I kind of looked ahead to see, like,
What,
wait,
what is today?
the 6th of May.
Is it really the
Yeah.
6th? Oh, that's right.
believe
Yesterday
it
was
is.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's right. I'm gonna give a shout out to.
Oh, he says he's ready. But why isn't it coming on? Does he need to accept you?
As one of his own.
Nope, he just needs to answer.
All right. Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Tell him to call me if you want.
Oh, okay. What is it?
I've already added him. He's already requested him.
Is it Unity FM?
Yeah.
Unity Online Radio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do,
Yeah.
do. It's gonna work out perfectly, folks. Just watch.
All right. That's it. He's got the info.
All right.
We're ready when you are. Because we got a story.
Profile, got everything.
Yeah, we got a story before
Why
it
don't you
comes
read
on.
those
That's
two
the thing.
quickies?
Yes.
All
And
back.
we'll do a couple quick stories and.
Almost mobile if I want. He says he's online, but he ain't answering.
Oh, you got a message from him?
He only has 2 contacts in his list.
We see him.
We just see that.
He must be the other one. You guys can call him too and add him to the call.
Well,
Drag his name all over the thing. Just drag it on.
Yeah, I don't have my computer's in a weird location.
Yeah. How many more longer do you want to keep trying him?
He'll call.
Did you give him the 800 number?
Yeah, Unity FM, right?
Yeah, give me 800 number too in case his Skype's not working.
All right, maybe your Skype's not working.
888-558-6489.
Call, what's the number?
888
Yep.
558
Mm-hmm.
6489.
624.
6489.
Oh.
6489.
Got it.
6489.
Okay, send it to him. We're ready.
You gotta wait 30. You
Burn.
gotta wait 30 seconds.
Wow. Good. You could type 2-fingered.
All right, I'm gonna have him on the phone for you.
All right.
You're listening to Funniest
There he
Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys
Say
on
hi,
the
Noel.
radio. If you
Hi,
have
Hey,
any
Noel.
What's up?
comment about
Okay,
today's
stand
show,
by.
if you'd like
We'll
to
call you.
join the
Here we go.
discussion, friend us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, or email us at funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org. Now, back to Funniest Thing.
All right, welcome back to Funniest Thing. Today's show is called "We're All Playing Make Believe."
And I have good news for our make-believers.
What is that?
It's from chapter 3 in Thoughts Are Things by Prentice Milford.
That's right.
Thought currents. of what we think and talk, we attract to us like current of thought.
Okay.
And that's followed by, we are all parts of the infinite power, a power ever carrying us up to higher and finer, happier grades of living. And that's why surrender works, and that's why that 3 breaths works so well for me this morning.
Yes.
I drop the rod and tune into God, because when we let go, when I surrender, the arguing, the fearful story stops in my mind.
Yes.
And we're automatically lifted.
That's right. There's always new thoughts available. There's always new ideas available. If we can just let go of whatever the blah, 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 whether like all the ways that I discount the good that's happening, whether it's because things don't work out for me, blah, blah, all this nonsense. It's about letting go of that long enough for new thoughts, new ideas to come in, to retune into God.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, no one's going through the day without some kind of fearful tape going off. At some point.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You could be thinking about a movie you just saw, and it sets off a train of thought of something in your mind.
And so it's at those moments where our imagination is either imagining positive outcomes or negative outcomes, and we know by the way we feel.
Yes.
And you got a call the other day. Let's do a quick
Oh my God,
story.
great story. He's actually a fan of our show.
Yeah.
I do some drawing with his son. His name is Bud. And I was drawing with his son. Ed was there, right,
Yep.
during the day. And we had a great day. And later on that day, I get a call from Bud. Later on that night, it was like
Yes.
10 at night, which is the father, saying, Daryl, I'd like to talk to you about something from today. It was really good seeing you, but can you give me a call back? I'd like to talk.
Right.
Now, what that says in my mind is, Daryl, I found out you did something very awful to my son. I'd like to talk to you about it. Which
Right.
is not what he said.
No, but that's
But
what
my
you heard. You heard
imagination-
something scary. Somehow you're in trouble.
My mind twisted nothing into something scary.
Yes.
It was late at night. So immediately I think, what could it have been? Did I say something I don't know about? And then I thought, because I had to think of the one thing concrete that may have upset him.
Yep.
And that was, I took a picture of us after we did the drawings, and he drew a portrait of me. And I called Ed, and I go, Ed, what do you think? I think Bud's mad at me because I took that picture. And Ed goes, oh, I kind of thought that too. And I go, what? And they tell him what you told me.
What did I say? I said, well, I think it was whatever's going on. I think you should just call call Bud and
Blast him.
blast him with love and joy, and
Yeah.
and that's just the way to handle
Yeah,
it. Just
because
don't sit around wondering or
No,
trying to work too hard to figure it out.
Or
anything.
sleep on it.
Yeah.
So I said, great, I'll call him, I'll walk the dogs, and I'll give him a call. But in the meantime, I had to switch my mind from fearful thinking
Yes.
to faithful thinking.
Yes.
And I just started doing what we're going to talk about in the Daily Word, what we've been talking about the whole show, is just sending love. And then I started feeling so full of love that I felt like, it wasn't like I was mustering up courage.
Yeah.
It just felt like I could call now. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I call, and it had nothing to do with me.
That's right.
He wanted to ask me questions about somebody else who was there at the event. Yeah, just he had some concerns because he'd never met her
He had his
before.
own scary story.
His scary story.
Yep.
So I ended up reassuring him and getting his mind back into a faithful way of imagining. And we were all so much better. But it was a perfect example of how my mind... when it's fueled by fear, when my faith is in fear, creates this horror story.
Right. At any given moment, one person's fear acts up. Someone needs to get out of fear and get back into love, because that's what is true. Love is real. That's why it's so powerful to get in tune and start thinking along the lines of love. But sometimes that fear can present this really compelling story and get us sucked in.
Yes.
But it's always a misunderstanding at the root of that. So let's go ahead and thank our listeners. I want to give a shout out to Bobby Biggs, because he told us he twittered us at Daryl and Ed tweeted us and said that because choir practice has been moved to Thursdays, he's able to tune in on Wednesdays.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're happy to have you with us, Ace, aka Blind Bobby Biggs. Let's see. We talked about our website, DarylandEd.com. You could go there if you want to start a Funniest Thing study group. It's real easy. There's a tab on our page,
it.
but really all you need is a podcast and 2 or more people.
That's it. You
And
got
you're
yourself
good to go.
And now you'll have the blog page, which will list all the readings from every previous show.
True, and you can contact us at the website as well on the contact form if you have any questions, if you have a study group, or if you're just a single person and you want questions. If you have questions, we'll answer them on the air.
And we love reading your mail on
That's
there.
right. And thank you also, like I mentioned, to the Twitter people out there, at Little Quinn Jr., who tweeted out about us this week. Shockley Events Management's always tweeting, so thank you all. And we actually had some listeners join us on our Funniest Thing fan page on Facebook from, where were they from? India?
Kenya.
Yep. All over the place.
India. We had India.
It's awesome.
That was just this week.
Yeah.
And someone else from California.
Yeah. Awesome. Culver City, I think. All right, and so let's also take a moment to thank our chief engineer.
Our favorite audiophile.
That's right, because this man, Jeff Comfort, each week, he takes us
right into the comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Little shout out to the prayer line is in order. 800-NOW-PRAY or 800-669-7729. Because when you're feeling alone and you're on your own,
Flesh and bone.
by the telephone,
Pick up the receiver.
they'll make you a believer.
Yeah. And you could also get the You Pray app,
That's
which
the
is
big letter U.
it's actually a little U with a big P.
Oh, it's the little U with the big P? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
All right,
one
little
word.
U, big P, You Pray.
Yes.
And it's a great app. You
Free.
can type in your prayers. They'll pray with you for 30 days. Or you can press the button and it'll go right to the prayer line, which is awesome. Daryl and Ed use it all the time.
Yes.
That's real. We're not. No one pays us to say we use the prayer line. We actually use it.
I know no one praises no one prays us.
Hopefully they pray for
may,
us.
They may praise
us.
us for doing these, but
Yeah.
no one. We don't get any. Anything out of doing these endorsements other than these are things we really love and use from
Yeah.
Unity. So that's why we tell you all about them.
Yeah, which leads us perfectly into the next segment, which is the Daily Word segment. If you want to order the Daily Word, go to darylanded.com. There's a special offer tab there. There's also at the bottom of the homepage, you can click on the link there. And there's just a phenomenal deal, like $9.95 a year.
And you could read the Daily Word for today at the bottom of our homepage.
Yeah, if you don't want to purchase it at this time, anytime you want to, you can read it on our homepage, the Daily Word for every day. It pops up.
It is the best deal. Thank you to the Daily Word, appreciating what we do by bragging about the Daily Word.
Yeah.
Is giving you an offer that comes to 3 cents a day for the actual physical Daily Word mailed to your house.
Ooh.
And we were talking about starting your day on the right foot, and that's the easiest tool.
That's right. Now, speaking of getting on the right foot, staying on the right foot, let's bring in Noel Bax.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of a real tool.
Yes.
Ba-dum-bum.
Hi guys, good to hear from you.
Hey, Noel, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's a pleasure to, see you guys in this light as well, I guess, or not see you, but talk to you since we run into each other so often.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
my
have
gosh.
Very grateful.
we have classic Bax attacks on the streets of downtown Culver City.
No doubt.
Unexpectedly.
Oh, my God. The other day, Daryl and I were eating dinner. Was it after the show?
No, because it wasn't on a show day.
It wasn't?
No, it was some other weird.
We're in downtown Culver City. We're just eating there, and we did a couple things, and we kind of went back and forth. Should we go out the front of the
Or
restaurant,
should
the back
sneak
of the
out the
restaurant?
back where the alley is.
Finally, I had a hunch to go out the back door. Finally, we decided to go out the back door. We open up the back door. Lo and behold, Noel Bax is walking right through the alley,
Right there.
at that moment, out that door, as if we had planned on meeting him there.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was so unrealistically real that I thought, that guy really looks a lot like Noel Bax, but it can't be Noel Bax, because why would he be right here with us right now? And it was Noel Bax.
Yep.
And the funny thing about that is as I'm driving there, I'm like running late, and I'm kind of I'm thinking of you, Daryl, when you kind of talk about when I'm running late, I run all these stories through my head, and I kind of had to talk myself down. I'm like, okay, if God is everything or God is nothing, this is just how it's going to be. Everything's going to be all right. It's all going to work out the way it should. And if I was a minute later or sooner, we probably wouldn't have run into each other. That's why, when I saw you, I almost fell over because it was such a wild and just continued affirmation that,
Yes.
when we give it over, it's always just working out the way it's supposed to work out anyway. So it's,
Totally.
it's always all good. Our mind are the things that make it more complicated and crazy
Yes.
than it really is.
It's certainly. I mean, I felt the same way. I literally felt like for a moment I slipped into a dream because I said yes to my intuitive hunch. Yeah, why am I trying to force this out the front? Let's go out the back. Because I said yes to the intuition and then I saw you, I literally felt like I was dreaming. It was amazing.
Yeah, because it's once more it reaffirms the hunch is always correct.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was like, let's go out the back, and you were like, yeah, maybe, and I go, yeah, maybe we'll go out the front, and you said, no, let's go out the back. Like we were back for
Yeah.
a second because
That-
I was thinking
Dude,
the alley,
yes.
and then you were thinking the front, and then you were going, no, let's go out the alley, and even that delay.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
We would have, if me and Ed
Right.
didn't even take that stumbling
That's
little
right.
delay, we would have missed you.
And this goes right along with today's Daily Word and what the show is all about. Because if we're going to tune into God reality, to love, the reality that we live in a loving universe, our intuition, our hunches are the things we really want to look for because it makes life so much easier.
Yes, follow the hunch.
Yes, it's amazing. So, shall we, Noel, do you have the Daily Word there?
I do.
Fantastic.
So today's daily word is pray for others. In the presence of God, all is well.
Yes.
Wednesday, May 6, 2015. God is present in every situation. Thus, challenges we face only have the power we give them. As I pray, I affirm this truth for others. I see friends and family awake in the presence of the Christ light. I behold peace and love in them, knowing wholeness is their true essence. Each of us is one with spirit, made perfect and whole. The riches of the kingdom belong to us because we are expressions of God. I see this truth for every person for whom I pray and see it manifest as perfect health, abundant prosperity, and deep peace. Spirit moves in me, around me, and through me as I pray. I remember love is all there is, and love grows as I pray for others. And the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he had prayed for his friends, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Job chapter 42, verse 10.
Dude.
So that was beautiful. It's so wild. Again, just as we're talking about this and everything that we're talking about, it leads literally right. It says exactly kind of what we're talking about. And before I had called you guys, I wanted to call the You Pray app. Pray for my friend Helen, who's dealing with cancer. And it was saying the same thing, in the little affirmations that they talk about while you're on hold. And it's when you start praying for other people, I'm ad-libbing a little bit, but as you start praying for other people, let us forget about ourselves for a second, And
Yes.
and there, because I'm getting ready for the show and all the ego and everything is talking and going through my head. And it's like, yeah, when I pray for others, I get out of self. I get out of all the craziness that, is running through my mind and is trying to take control. And when I pray for others, I can get out of there. I can truly be free and peaceful and feel, connected and as one. And now instead of going crazy in my head and kind of, adding nothing really good to this life right now because I'm just thinking about myself and all the craziness that's going on. Now, when I get out of self and I pray for others, I'm able to kind of add to that stream of life and add to the
yes.
goodness of this life by getting out of self and letting go.
When you're saying that, what's so clear to me is, and I know you know what I'm saying. This is not, but what's coming clear to me too is, what we're really doing is getting out of the misunderstandings we have about ourselves, because all that stuff that's so negative going on is not even true about us. And when we start praying for others, we actually become who we really are. And we start doing, that's why we can't rush to meetings or rush anywhere, because like you said, I start worrying about this illusory self that might lose out, might do it, but
Might
that's
get in
not
trouble.
even, yeah. And then I at those moments, I'm no longer in the flow with blessing others.
No.
Mind you, my inner self is still blessing others, but I'm not cooperating with it.
No.
And so when I start praying for others and blessing others, I start becoming who I really am. And man, that's when the magic, I start experiencing the magic.
It is like my go-to meditation. Like if I'm trying to get into a meditation and I'm having trouble meditating,
Yes.
my go-to tool or device, my mental device, is to start praying for others. I'll
Yes.
start thinking about like your friend Helen, and I'll imagine Helen, feeling good, smiling, happy,
Yes.
at peace,
Healthy.
vibrant,
Yes.
feeling peaceful and loved
Beautiful.
and reassured. And then I start feeling, I
Yes.
drop right into this
Right.
great feeling, and I'm immediately able to just continue that into a meditation.
Yes.
But when I don't do that and I'm having trouble, the only other alternative is I'll go, wait a minute, I don't have to know how to meditate. God does the work.
Yes.
But my one that really gets me there and feeling wonderful is praying for others.
Right.
And you could call it
Yeah, amen.
thinking of others. You don't even have to. I mean, if
Yeah,
the
just
word prayer
imagining.
rubs you the wrong way, which we understand it can, or you don't, you could say thinking of others.
Yeah, thinking kindly, lovingly of others.
Yes.
Well, I had this situation where I was walking my dogs the other day, and this lady pulled up to me. I'm walking down Palms, and I'm apprehensive right away. And she's like, can you help me find this? Do you know where this street is? And I was like, oh yeah. Like immediately when someone asked me for help, I'm like, thank God I can get out of self. I can help somebody else. Let me do that.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, let me put it on my phone because your phone's kind of wonky. And she's like, I don't mean to be personal, but like, what do you do for work? Why are you so nice? And I was like, well, that has nothing to do with it. But
Yeah.
I go, you asking me for help helps me, helps
Yeah.
me get out of myself. And it's almost a blessing that you ask her that. And so she, she's like, you're the reason why this, nice people like you is the reason why, we can believe in this world and this and that. And it was,
Wow.
it wasn't that I went out for that, but simply
Right.
taking that step and trying to help somebody,
Yeah.
the ripple effect, you don't know how far that will go.
That's right.
Well, you know what else is wonderful? That we tend to think we need things to win people over to feel love, like a Ferrari or
Yeah.
a new suit, or
Sure.
have the right girl on our arm and have the right job. But it's not that at all.
No.
It's love is
Yeah.
the magnetic. Love is the most attractive thing we could share.
That's right. Because too often we're trying to make up for something that we already have, but we don't know. We don't, at that moment, we don't realize how great we are. So we think, I'm going to make up for the weakness I am, whatever, for this other stuff. But we're at those moments, we truly don't know how. We got to remember how great we are, how great it feels to love others, how great of just our being. What an effect we have on the world. So that's a great story.
It's all with today's daily word. Pray for others. And
Yes.
if you don't have the daily word, go to darylned.com, and at the bottom of today's homepage, you can read today's daily
Yeah.
word for free.
Noel Bax, man, we got to go to the break. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was great to talk to you guys. See you soon.
Yes, I'll see
we
you
will.
soon,
I'm sure.
man.
We never know where, or we never know when.
Sooner than you think.
That's right.
Sooner than you think.
That's
Hey,
right.
We'll call you after this.
Coming up after the break, we'll have the
Okay.
joke of the day, listener mailbag, and more. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
Is Noel still there?
Yeah.
Well,
What's up?
well, too bad you can't see our audio file. His nose and mouth is covered with a white powder, and I don't know how they keep these guys awake in Kansas City. But it's either powdered sugar from a donut, or
Or something else.
something a little more
Hey, wait.
powerful.
I want to tell you real quick, that lady Helen, that's my friend's mom, and I asked for her name the other day because I heard she had cancer. It's like my friend's wife's mom, and he goes, oh, because I want to pray for you. I want to
Right.
call the You Pray app and pray for you. And he started talking about the Bible, and he goes, when she got sick, we started talking over her, and she started really believing that God lives within her, Jesus lives within her, and that she was going to be okay. And she has now gone into remission.
Oh,
and
my
at the
God.
same time, her uncle had gotten cancer, and he didn't believe in that, and he doesn't, really believe in that. And you can kind of see he regressed and she progressed. And so really kind of talking and saying to yourself that you're healed, and and that she kept affirming that over herself. It was amazing the progress that she's gone. And then sadly, they got to see the opposite of that as well. And so it's pretty wild stuff.
Well, you should find out the name of the uncle, and we could start sending
Yeah, it's a
love
great one.
his way in spite of himself, because
Right.
it still works.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to probably see him tonight, so I'm going to ask for that.
Oh, perfect, man. Thank you so much. And we're so happy you shared that with us, too. So we could actually put her name out there to all the
Yes.
to everyone listening, because now they're going to be thinking of Helen with positive thoughts.
Yeah.
And that just makes a giant prayer.
Exactly. That's kind of why I threw it out there.
Beautiful.
All right. I'll call you after the show, Noel.
All right, dude.
Take
Okay.
care, brother. Bye.
You
Hey.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Jeff, the punchline is Daryl saying, should have bought a hat, Bert. Should have bought a hat.
I say it twice. Should have bought a hat, Bert. Should have bought a hat.
I'm going to tell a quick story at the top of this.
Okay.
We'll do the reading.
We now return to the funniest thing. Here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio.
We're all playing make-believe.
That's right.
What are you believing?
That's right. That's right. And I had a quick story that happened to me yesterday. My mind has just been going through a lot. I haven't been sleeping as much as I could be. And so that kind of throws me off sometimes because I don't have that time to, my eye was twitching. All this stuff was going on. I ended up going surfing in some very big waves with my buddy. And I got into this throes of doubt about my ability and such. And I went out there and I was sitting out there kind of off this little space by myself. And I actually took a little while. I caught one good wave. Then I started to stand up on another, and I got my confidence back. I got that one good wave. Then I started to stand up in this giant wave, and the whole lineup of surfers, I can see you because I was at the top of the point. And then, doop, I tumbled over the front of my surfboard, right? And all of a sudden, that fear and that doubt gripped me again.
Wait, like you felt like a little boy who looked
Yeah,
stupid.
everyone's laughing at me. My face was hot, and it was all I haven't felt as much doubt in so long, and I really had to say, eventually I had to just, all right, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna try to get out of the way I'm feeling. I'm just gonna be that kid right now who's just not the best surfer on the beach or whatever, whatever was. I just
let
said,
that wash over.
Yeah.
Let that thought wash away.
And I started to have this compassion for myself when I was a kid because literally in my mind, my legs felt like they were twisted and I couldn't even imagine myself standing up on a surfboard. I literally started to doubt. I've been surfing since I was 13. I'm 40, almost 41. But I started to feel compassion for that part of myself when I was a kid. I literally went a little further out. I closed my eyes. I started affirming. I do not depend on persons or conditions for my prosperity. I bless persons or conditions, as channels my
Yes.
prosperity. But God is the source of my supply. And I started blessing everyone around me because there was one kind of meathead looking guy that I was imagining was judging me. I started blessing him. As soon as the spell broke and I got back
Yes.
on it took a little while. But mind you, we had plans to get out of the water early to get me back to work on time. But I said, you know what? I need the time right now. I'm not going to try to rush now from this place. It'll make it worse.
Oh my God.
So I sat there, the spell broke. I looked up and the very guy who I thought was judging me for falling just floundered hardcore on a wave. He just tumbled the same way I did. And I just felt love because I
Right.
remembered, we all do this. This is just
Yes.
life. And then I caught the best wave I got all day. I was growling and screaming as I surfed down the line, but with joy. And I got out of the water. The relief of getting back and remembering who I am. I think that's why that keeps hitting me. I remembered who I was, and it was so much better than that voice of fear was telling me. God, I was so happy that I just took the time to let go of the fear, didn't react to it, or stopped reacting to it, and let God come back into my reality. It was amazing. I felt like $1 million the rest of the day.
Well, it's so easy to forget who we are. I mean, the other day I was going to go teach a first grader at his house.
Yes.
The parents are he found out about me because I volunteer with you and Mrs.
Yeah.
Glusack.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden I'm thinking, I don't know, how am I going to teach him?
Right.
It's like I've been
Yeah,
drawing for
exactly.
ever since I was a kid myself.
Yes.
And now I'm going, I don't know how to do this. I didn't go to school to become an educator like Ed and Mrs. Glusack.
Oh my God, same exact thing. And I bet.
And I was like, I lost everything.
Yeah, and how'd it go?
And that went wonderful because I had to throw love back in. And I talked to you and you said,
Yeah.
oh, it's easy. You've been doing this for years. And I go,
Yeah.
yeah, I have been doing this for years. What am I And then I started throwing love into the situation
Yeah.
before I got there.
Yeah.
And imagine, and he was so happy.
Both these situations
Oh my
are so
God.
important
It
because
was
we were
wonderful.
both believing something that was so untrue, but it was so loud in our heads and it was so ridiculous.
And
but
it's
we
and we're playing make believe when we're doing that.
And it's really terrible.
Don't make believe that way,
Story
folks.
virtue. Yeah, exactly. Let me do a quick reading from Daily Guidance for Your Angels. It says from page 208. This is again on our reading list on DarylNed.com. She says, fill your heart with happiness. You have the right to be as happy as you choose. There's an unlimited supply of joy within you and this world. What you decide to focus on is a reflection of what you want for your life. That's key. When you pick happiness, you then see many examples to support your selection. You begin to notice how much goodness, love, and thoughtfulness there is in the universe. Remember that you will always find evidence to support whatever judgment you hold of yourself, other people, or the world. Which opinion would bring the most happiness to you and others?
And that brings us to
The joke of the day.
the joke of the day, talking about
This
happiness.
is an elderly couple, Margaret and Bert. They moved to Texas, right?
Yes.
Bert always wanted a pair of those authentic cowboy boots. So, seeing some on sale, he bought them and wore them home. Walking proudly, he sauntered into the kitchen and said to his wife, notice anything different about me? Margaret looked him over and said,
Nope.
Frustrated, Bob stormed off into the bathroom, undressed, and walked back into the kitchen completely naked.
Nude.
Except for the boots.
Oh,
Again, he asked Margaret, a little louder this time, notice anything different now? Margaret looked up and said,
Bert, what's the difference? It's hanging down today. It was hanging down yesterday. It'll be hanging down again tomorrow.
Furious, Bert yelled, and do you know why it's hanging down, Margaret?
Nope, not a clue.
It's hanging down because it's looking at my new boots. And Margaret replied,
You should have bought a hat, Bert. You should have bought a hat.
oh, who did I hear that coming up?
The amazing thing is our time is expanding.
I know.
Waking up.
Oh.
Gabby the postal pit bull.
All right, give me a piece of mail.
Well, you're ripping that out. I'm going to let people know. Gabby really exists. If you go to the website, darylned.com, you'll see a picture of Gabby
That's
the postal pit bull.
On the crew page.
Yes, she's there with Mr. French, our station manager.
This one comes from Salem, Massachusetts, from our friend Stephen Kazawick. And it says, hey, we're the monkeys.
That was an episode recently.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm doing a little catch up on your episodes and love the title. FYI, my nickname is Monkey.
Wow.
From Stephanie. That's Stephanie Havelka, the
His sister.
founder and innovator of Sportkini, who's been on our show before. And a lot of people refer to me that way. Surprise, surprise about learning about my hearing impairment and your programs being closed captioned. I do want to provide a heads up that sometimes the words do not get typed correctly, since I think the captioning is done automatically about 24 hours after posting the video. Although everything is okay because it's pretty clear. Steph and I had a great conversation about you guys and just love your zest for life. I feel like you're part of my family already because we speak the same language. And also make the effort to better ourselves as individuals first and then spread that to others. Beautiful. FYI, I'm going through some relationship things with my girlfriend and could use some prayers. We are in transition right now, and I know that asking for loving thoughts from others, regardless of how things turn out, can be the next best thing. True. Thanks for being there. Have a great day. Looking forward to catching the next episode soon, Stephen.
Two good things were mentioned there. One, don't fret over the mistyped spelled words. It
That's right.
It actually might improve and say what we're really trying to say.
True, I wouldn't doubt it.
And also, I like what he said about we got to work on ourselves first before we help others.
That's so true.
Even on the airplane, what do they tell you? Put your air mask on first.
Yes.
Then help the person next to you. Because if
Yeah.
if you can't breathe, you're not going to be able to help another.
And Jesus said, first love your God with all your heart and all your might. That's tuning into yourself. And then
Yes.
love your brother, your neighbor as yourself or something like that. Then go out and love your brother, and sister. And
Yeah, well, because it makes
First,
it easy.
connect. Yes, exactly.
Because when I'm feeling good about me, I love
Oh,
everyone.
it's natural, right?
When I'm connected. But when
Right.
I'm not connected, I'm
Oh,
mad at
man.
everyone.
Yeah, read that next piece of mail.
Oh,
down
this
there.
one's
It's a quick
from
one.
Reno, Nevada.
Reno, Nevada.
Isn't that the biggest little city?
Is that right?
I think that's what they call it. I think that's what they call
We
it.
loved the little gambling excursion when we were younger.
With Mama B.
That's right.
Stacy Werner writes, I am in class right now studying the book The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. And I am in the 4th chapter, Decide to Be Happy, which you quoted in your episode. Be sure to tune in daily. I loved it. I need to reaffirm a few things, and your light heart humor is always a welcoming blessing. Thank you so much. That was the perfect coincidence.
No kidding. And you know what? This might be a good time for us to reiterate how important the morning routine is.
Yeah, because if we don't do it, we feel like Chicken Little in the morning.
We sure do.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Woo!
Dun, 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 dun.
Sit down every morning,
With readings
not just
now and then.
give that
Chicken fat back to the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken again. Visit DarylNed.com to find easy links to everything we do, including the Funniest Thing podcast on iTunes, our YouTube
Noel
page,
Bax!
our Twitter at Daryl and Ed, and the Funniest Thing fan page on Facebook. And as
Jeff
always,
Cooper!
thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed on Unity Online Radio. Back to the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken again.